Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into my vlog. I decided I'd go ahead and give it another try since we're getting down to the end of the semester. In Chapter 11, I decided to look at the theory of elaborated and restricted codes by Basil Bernstein. And this theory just shows how language's structure in everyday conversation reflects and shapes our assumptions about social groups. So Bernstein was specifically interested in the social classes, and he wanted to look at the way that the class system creates different types of language and how the class system is maintained by language. So for me, the best way that I made sense of this was just thinking of us as graduate students. The language that we share as graduate students and just the conversations that we have amongst each other might differ from the conversations, say, of our professors or different communication researchers. And while it's not the typical breakdown of a class system, such as the lower, middle, or upper class, it's a very clear distinction between the groups, and based off our language, people can probably assume, the different conversations that are had between our groups, and as well as kind of affiliating us to one group versus another. And with Bernstein, he really looked at how role and language go hand in hand, and how children's roles are employed in the community, especially in the family. And the way that he viewed this is through codes, and codes are defined as a set of organizing principles behind the language employed by members of a social group. So the way that he broke it down was in two different types of codes. The first code is elaborated code, which provides a range of different ways to say something, and it gives you an opportunity to make your ideas or the intentions of what you're trying to say explicit. So the way that I thought about this, and it was actually kind of funny because I just recently watched one of the newer episodes of Catfish, and they talked about how the word catfish has been changed in the Webster Dictionary. So before, when we said the word catfish, you just thought of the actual animal or, the type of food. Now if somebody says catfish, you kind of have to elaborate because they can mean the food, they can mean a person that's presenting themselves online as somebody that they're not. So that's a difference or an example of an elaborated code. Where on the flip side, restricted code is a little bit more narrowed and focused, and it's easier to predict what the person is trying to say. And with restricted code, you don't have the ability to kind of expand and elaborate on what you're trying to say because it kind of should be a given. So the way that I thought about this was through text talk, such as LOL, BRB. You don't have to really explain that. Granted, not everyone's hip to the text culture, but especially in our society today, those are kind of becoming a part of our everyday talk. So people don't have to really explain those because we know exactly what they mean. So I thought this theory was very interesting just because of the role aspect and, just the different types of ways that we go about talking in our different social groups and kind of how our language and conversation kind of shows us our role in society as well as places us into different classes. So definitely an interesting concept, especially for our everyday lives. But thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you guys keep watching.